Have you ever gone to a podcast host website and read, "We do not accept guest pitches," or reached out to someone, maybe put together a really well thought out email and just got ghosted? And if you are trying to use a booking service, chances are you've heard, "Yeah, we're not getting results." That's not because show hosts are gatekeeping. They're sending a very clear signal, and that signal is, we're not going to take you as a pitch. So how are you going to get your message to break through? Well, let's dig in. You are listening to Amplify Your Success Podcast, episode 482. And today, let's talk about the new reality in the world of podcasts and why hosts are no longer accepting guest pitches. You ready for this? Let's get started. Welcome to the Amplify Your Success Podcast. Get ready to ramp up your revenue, amplify your impact, and make your mark in the world. This is the show for experts, thought leaders, and service professionals who want to shatter their limits and achieve that next level. You're going to find out from other experts and influencers how they made it. Now, let's get amplified. Hey there, inspired entrepreneurs and business leaders. It's your host, Melanie Benson. And I am an authority amplifier and founder of the Rising Tide Collective, a collaborative room for experts who are ready to create win-win-win collaborations. Now, today on the show, I want to talk about something that is kind of like the murmur in the back of the room. It's the conversation so many people are having right now. And this week, if you don't know this already, I'm hosting Visibility Velocity, my virtual event. And one of the things I do is I gather some of my favorite podcast hosts, and some of them are new to me, new friends. And I ask them to open their podcast to take pitches from our VIPs. These are the people that upgrade in the room and decide that they're going to take the Visibility Activation Lab with me. Because I know that many of these hosts will never take a pitch. And many of the people who are joining me in the VIP room and at Visibility Velocity, they don't have a relationship with these hosts, but I do. And one of the things that's broken down over the last few years is more and more hosts are not going to take a pitch from somebody they don't know. And they are only going to accept referrals and make personal invitations to people they'd like to have on their show, which is one of the reasons why this is such an exclusive opportunity at Visibility Velocity. So why has the cold pitch from either you or someone you've hired no longer working to get you on many of these more popular shows? Well, first of all, it's a very, very noisy world right now. And when you establish a show that hits the 10%, 5%, 2%, 1%, or the top 10 on whatever platform you like to listen to, yes, you're going to get more people listening to the show, but you're also putting yourself on the radar to get slammed with unsolicited pitches. And most of these pitches are trash. They're junk. Most of these pitches are from people that are not qualified nor even aligned with the show. And so it creates so much overwhelm for the host, because to do diligence to those pitches means you've got to go through them. And look, most of us are not paying you, or not asking you to pay to be on a show, I should say. And so this means it's on us, and we're never going to do it. So we rely on referrals and people we know to invite them into the guest spot. That puts you at a disadvantage if you don't have those relationships. The other thing that's happening is there's a real trust erosion and a credibility kind of disconnect with a lot of people that are pitched to be on a show. They're probably on a big podcast tour. They have nothing invested in this host or their show. So they're going to do the bare minimum to be on the show. Now, I'm not saying everybody does that, but a lot of people do. And by the way, if you didn't listen to the last episode where I talk about why you should pay for media exposure or when you should pay for media exposure, this is one of the reasons. Because the erosion of believing that a pitched guest is going to do a good job of being a guest and they're actually going to share the show and they're going to treat it with respect, it's gone. Because most of the pitched guests that have ever been accepted on my show did the bare minimum. They didn't really value the exposure and they never even shared the show. When you have a referral or you handpick someone as the host of a show, you really believe in the value that person's going to bring. And if you don't, it's a crapshoot. And again, if we have to go vet the guest and we have to spend a bunch of time figuring out if this person's a good fit, that's time lost. And as valuable as you believe you are as a guest, I guarantee you we have about 100 more impactful activities that we need to be spending our time doing. So it's not going to happen. Which means you as the guest with a beautiful message, an impact that can make such a big difference in the world. If you don't have these relationships, then you're not going to get the visibility you need. And it can take you months, if not years, to build it. But that doesn't mean there isn't a way to do that. And I'm going to talk about this. So the first one is through authority positioning. And authority positioning is a longer game. It is something that you can boost quickly with very strategic messaging and visibility. But this is about you being known, being trusted, and being top of mind. And that means you have to do a good job of getting known in the right rooms with the right message. So people go, oh, if you want this, this is your person. And there are several ways to do this, to speed this up. But one is to get into a curated room and participate in events where you have an opportunity to network and connect. The second part of this is keeping a consistent presence either through social media or your own authority platform, like hosting your own events or hosting your own podcast, so you get known for the thing that you do. This is very powerful. It is the longer game, and I really believe authority positioning has to happen alongside these other two strategic pathways. So when you are positioned well, you become the logical choice. You become the person people want to invite. You can also do this through referrals. So a little backstory. I have been so fortunate to invest my time and energy building relationships over the last 2.5 decades. And one of the outcomes of that is I literally have people all over the world in all different kinds of niches that I know and that have specialties and expertise. And I am able to connect people together because I can recognize where opportunity is. And a lot of times they turn to me and say, who do you know? You need that in your corner. And that's a big part of why I created my Rising Tide Collective, because I recognize that the positioning that takes place can be sped up through proximity. These types of opportunities are going to the people who clearly claim leadership and authority and have curated a voice that other people recognize. So get recognized. Let's talk about the second one. This is strategic proximity. And again, it partners very well with number one, which is your authority positioning. And strategic proximity is, what rooms do I need to invest in so that I am collaborating with other people who own platforms that I would like to access? Now, of course, we want to look for the win-win here. So you're looking at what are high-level peer rooms? Where are collaboration communities like Rising Tide Collective? Where are the shared stages in environments where if I maybe invested or I showed up in that room and I did my networking properly, I'd be able to get my authority more recognized. Now, sometimes strategic proximity is going to come from attending an event like Visibility Velocity. One of the reasons why I started doing Visibility Velocity is, yes, I want to help people understand what is the roadmap to go from I'm not known enough, or I'm a best kept secret, or have visibility, but it's not moving the revenue needle for me, to I've got a process and a strategy that turns my visibility into recognition and revenue. That's why I host Visibility Velocity. And there is something about being in proximity with people who get to know you, they start to feel connected to you, they start to recognize why you, and then they're building their own visibility ecosystem, they're having their events, and they move the needle. That's second, get in strategic proximity. Every single interview I have done over the last decade and a half, actually, every speaking gig I've ever had, whether it's on a microphone, on stage, or it's on a microphone for a podcast, has come through 1 and 2. People knowing my work and the strategic proximity to people who are moving the visibility needle. So you don't have to pitch yourself, but you do need to embed yourself into the right rooms to get into the right conversations so that your name is the one that comes up. And you need to look for opportunities like Visibility Velocity. When I host it, it is free. Now, yes, you do have to do a small investment to bump yourself to the VIP room, but that can be very valuable. And that's a good segue into 3, curated ecosystems. So one of the shortcuts that's available, and this is getting more and more popular, is to invest in an event or an experience where the host is going to help facilitate connections. So there are 3 places I do that here. One is through the Visibility Velocity event. If you upgrade to VIP, you're in the lab and you're going to get your message in front of 21 podcast hosts. So that is a curated ecosystem, an opportunity for you to get your message in front of a curated group of people that can jumpstart or accelerate your visibility. Now, the second way we help people here, and I mentioned this before, is the Rising Tide Collective. And that's really about investing in a community, a room, a curated experience where people who know people who are active show hosts and speaker bookers and strategic partners, they're actively collaborating and co-creating opportunities together. So that is something that is an application-only program. We'll link it up here in the show notes. That is something that the people in it absolutely love it, because it's not just about getting something, it's about co-creating, kind of rising together. And then the third opportunity we offer here is my Authority Activator, which then you can graduate to my Accelerator. And that's where we ongoing help connect you with aligned visibility opportunities that open doors for you. And that can be highly curated. And at this level, that's what you need. You need somebody who can say, hey, I know the perfect host for you. I'm going to make an introduction so that you're not chasing the visibility, but I'm actually opening a door for you, which in essence, that's the whole baseline of Rising Tide Collective. But sometimes people want more of a high level introduction. They don't feel called to do community, but they are looking for somebody to help accelerate that, not by pitching, but by making connections happen. Now, yes, there are other ecosystems that are curated that you can tap into, like a matchmaking service, or yes, you can do pitch services. But to me, I'm watching the pitches die. I take very few of them. Only twice a year do we open up and look at pitches that people have made to see if they're aligned. Twice a year. And I'm unique in the sense that most people never look at them. They go right in the trash. So your job right now is, how can you change your paradigm about how you're getting in front of potential hosts Do you need to be positioning your authority and getting known? Do you need to be in strategic proximity so you can co-create opportunity? Or do you need to access curated ecosystems where someone else is going to help open the door for you? And maybe it's time to do all three. Doing all three together, major power move. But don't rely on the pitch anymore. And know that if you really are looking for visibility that moves the needle, you've got to vet it. You can't just say yes to everything. And the more strategic and intentional you are, the better results you're going to see with it. So if you're already signed up for Visibility Velocity, I'm excited. I hope you have upgraded into the VIP. We have very limited spots in the lab. So don't wait till the last minute because it may be gone. So here's my challenge for you. This month, I want you to focus on doing one of the three or all three, and bonus points if you reach out in the DMs wherever you are active on social media and let me know what you're putting into action. Thanks for tuning in today, Amplifier. We're going to keep this conversation going, and I want to hear from you how you're going to amplify your authority and make a greater impact. Before you go, please take a minute to give our show and our guests some love over on your favorite podcasting platform. Subscribe, rate, and review. Leave your full name, and I'll spotlight you and your authority on social media.